Good evening. Welcome again to Varsity Sports Live. Tom Neiman along with Jason and Dara. And what were we looking forward tonight, Jandy? You in particular.
Me in particular. The slate in South Dakota, the 11 AAA games. It's been such a fun class to watch all season long, and we had some really fun ones with Lincoln taking on Brandon, and how about Rapid City Stevens and Rapid City Central going at it in the West. I think all the 11 AAA games turned out to be a lot of fun tonight. So that was what I was looking forward to most. And I'm also looking forward to seeing how you call these North Dakota highlights tonight, because our friend Jody Norstedt called the game in Bismarck, not able to make an appearance. And this is our North Dakota expert for tonight.
It's going to be beautiful. Back to the old days. Bismarck Century, by the way, beat Mandan in that the live game we had on Midco Sports Network tonight. Elsewhere in North Dakota this evening, Shanley gets to 5-1 as they knock off West Fargo Cheyenne. First loss of the year for Cheyenne.
Looks a little bit like an upset, right? Well, West Fargo Cheyenne was without their starting quarterback. Tyler Terrark had to come in and play that position, but still, trust me, a big win for Shanley up in the big class.
Highlights of that one coming up. Fargo Davies is 5-1 as they bump off North tonight 35-0. Fargo South gets to 4-2, 57-6 tonight over winless Grand Forks Central. West Fargo evens out at 3-3 as they beat Red River tonight 44-7. Highlights of that one coming up as well. As we mentioned, Bismarck Century in the TV game this evening, 37-15 over Mandan. A couple of catches in that game by Elijah Klein for Mandan.
Ridiculous.
That are worth waiting around for. Bismarck Legacy is 4-2 after a win over Williston tonight, 17-14. Bismarck High gets even at 3-3 as the Demons beat Dickinson 38-21. Minot is 3-3, a win over Jamestown tonight, 21-13. In Class 2A in North Dakota, Hillsboro Central Valley, they go to overtime in this one, tied at 7. Hillsboro blocks an extra point by Devils Lake in the overtime to pull it out 14-13. We'll take a look at those highlights as well. Valley City and Wahpeton. Valley City pulls away in the end to win that one 36-8 tonight. So Valley City is 4-2 on the season. Also in 2A, Kindred gets to 5-1. They beat Central Cass tonight 25-15. Beulah is 5-1 as well, 36-35 over St. Mary this evening in a wild one in Beulah. In Class A, Lisbon gets to 6-0 over Thompson tonight. Tommies are 4-2 in their first year in Class A. It was Langdon area 60-0 tonight over Bottineau. Langdon area, Edmore Munich is now 7-0.
Yeah, they're definitely the number one team in that class.
On the season in Class A. Velva is 6-0, right behind them though at number 2. 46-7 tonight over Tioga. And Bowman County, is this an upset or not?
Yeah.
4-5. The score might be a little misleading, but they knocked off Shiloh Christian 34-6.
Their first loss in 11-man football for Shiloh Christian, and yeah, I think they would consider that an upset even.
Shiloh Christian is 6-1, Bowman County 5-1. In 9-man football is a final now. Findlay Sharon Hope Page over Wyndmere Lidgerwood 38-20. And New Rockford Cheyenne, the number one team there, New Rockford Cheyenne, the Rockets are 6-0 after a 52 win over North Prairie tonight. Cavalier is 7-0 in 9-man football in North Dakota, 42-6 tonight over St. John, just the second loss of the season for St. John. But Cavalier, the Tornadoes, 7-0. And Ray Powers Lake knocks off Central McLean tonight, first loss for the Cougars in that one, and highlights coming up as well.
A lot of good highlights coming up from North Dakota, and let's take a look at some of those South Dakota scorers.
How about this one, Jandy? Lincoln over Brandon Valley, 26-21.
It was close. It was close at halftime, but Sioux Falls Lincoln played a tremendous second half. Can't wait to check out those highlights coming up soon.
Knockoff number 1 there, 26-21. Roosevelt rolls at Aberdeen Central, 45-7. We'll take a peek at that one. Harrisburg, this game was tied 14-14 at halftime. Tigers get a big night on the ground from Anders Clayton and win it 22-14 over Watertown. O'Gorman, this game is still in the fourth quarter. What's the situation?
Yeah, they're stuck in a weather delay right now. There's only 1:49 left in this game. O'Gorman's got command.
Rapid City Stevens comes back to beat Rapid City Central. The Cobblers led 20-6, and then Stevens got that passing game going, and the Raiders pull it out 32-27 to get to 3-3.
Poor Central. How many games have they been so close this year, not able to get a victory yet?
Pierre goes to Huron, takes care of the Tigers 55-20. Another big night for Garrett Stout and his guys.
5 touchdowns, only 5 touchdowns.
5 tonight for Stout. Brookings is undefeated at 6-0. They knock off Mitchell at home tonight 41-7. Yankton and Sturgis. Sturgis scored on a 43-yard touchdown with 20 seconds left in the game to beat Yankton tonight. Second win of the year for Sturgis.
Nice little comeback win for the Sturgis Brown Scoopers. And I'll tell you what, Brown, they could make a little charge here. Double A is still wide open.
All right, Sturgis 2-4 on this season. Douglas gets its first win. Patriots over Spearfish tonight 14-0. In 11A, T is 5-1. They beat Lennox tonight 24-0.
Yeah, their quarterback didn't play tonight, Austin Lake, so they put a different quarterback in, got it done, but not an overly convincing win for T. They just pretty much hogged up the clock all night long.
All right, T's number 1, but Del Rapids is the real deal. Del Rapids is 6-0. Warriors beat Dakota Valley tonight 28-7.
Huge second half.
Winner in 11B. Winner gets to 7-0 now. They beat Chamberlain 28-6 in Chamberlain tonight. Webster area in 11B as well. They are undefeated at 6-0, 34-12 tonight over Mobridge Pollock.
Both these teams came in undefeated. Webster, that's a nice win for them.
Highlights of that one a little bit later. Bonham is 7-0 in 9-man football. They beat Gregory 23-7 tonight. We're efforting some highlights from that one in Tyndall tonight. Sully Buttes is unbeaten. Jandy at 6-0. They beat North Border tonight 48-0.
We got to note that Nick Whitler is unofficially at 106 touchdowns for his career. Unbelievable career for the senior.
35 of those already this year, I think, for Nick Whitler. Is that right?
About right, yeah.
Kimball White Lake and Woolsey Wessington 42-32 there for the Warbirds. So both those teams are 4-2 now. And one other 9-man score of note. Del Rapids St. Mary's wiped out Centerville tonight 52-0. And we'll take a look at that one as well. All right, Jandy, let's get to the highlights tonight. You were out at Howard Wood Field. It was not a beautiful night out, but
it was supposed to rain at 9 o'clock, and the rain really started coming about 7 o'clock and got bad there for a little bit. And it affected the game just a little bit. But both these teams came in by playing very secure ball, not throwing turnovers, not fumbling the ball. But there was one team who turned the ball over 3 times, but somehow managed to win. So let's tell that story right now.
Let's go to Howard Wood Field. Lincoln hosting Brandon Valley. Both these teams 4-1. Coming into the game, the Lynx have those really cool uniforms. The numbers are hard to read, but whatever. Tommy Thompson.
Right after a block punt, they had the ball deep into Brandon territory, and Luke Smith gets them on the board 6-0.
All right, so 6-0. Brandon Valley forces a turnover right here.
Look at that tip ball drill. Moch Knaus comes up with it, and on the ensuing drive, second quarter action now. Look at this, beautiful. And he thinks he's got a touchdown here, but he steps out at the 15-yard line. Nobody pushed him out. Stepped out at the 15-yard line, but don't worry, Tate Johnson's there to pick up the garbage.
Jackson Hilton had that big catch, did not score. Tate Johnson, who had, 230 yards, something last week? 75 last week. So it's 7-6, Brandon Valley in the lead. And then Skolton to Hilton again.
So 2 huge plays for Hilton, neither of them resulting in touchdowns, but got down to the 1-yard line.
So then Jesse Steffel, the other running back for Brandon Valley, takes it in. Links up 14-6.
Yeah, that was a big momentum boost, but right before halftime, Lincoln has a nice drive going, but look at this turnover. This is crazy. Joseph Kolbeck just says, I'll help myself to this football. He takes it back, but later they would punt. Lincoln would come back all the way down the field and punch one in with Isaiah Robinson. So right before halftime, tie that game up at 14, and they felt like they couldn't be stopped. They just kept eating up first downs. They doubled up the Lynx tonight in first downs, and another touchdown coming out in the third quarter to Tommy Thompson.
Thompson makes it 20-14 Lincoln. They grab the lead, and then in the fourth quarter, the speedster Hunter Merkley gets around the corner for a touchdown. 26-14 Lincoln in the lead, and they do hang on and win it. Brandon Valley tacks on a score late, but 26-21 is the final.
Stop the run game. All this week we were preaching, stop the run game, because then we're going to force them to pass. And, telling by the scoreboard, I think we stopped the run game. Yeah, they won last year, especially since they're the defending champs, and, we beat them. I don't know, man. It's great.
You don't know, man.
Lincoln is avenging some losses from a season ago, and they didn't shut down Brandon Valley's run game, but they did slow it down.
Well, that's the thing, is you looked up at the scoreboard, Tate Johnson has over 100 yards again, but they shut it down enough. They contained it. They didn't allow any huge runs. They did allow a couple of huge pass plays, but that's really all they gave up. Other than that, they had contained Brandon, and this Lincoln offense was so hard to stop. Brandon Valley could not stop Sioux Falls Lincoln all night long.
All right, playoffs are going to be really good.
They'll be great.
In 11 AAA. So Lincoln is the first team to get to 5-1, and Roosevelt followed them tonight as well. Roosevelt was at Aberdeen Central at Swisher Field, and Roosevelt got an early touchdown from Aaron Kusler on a touchdown run, and then Kusler blocks a punt here.
He did a little bit of everything.
He's pretty good at this. He blocked one last week against Harrisburg. That leads to a Joe Turre touchdown.
Hooray!
Turre right up the middle, so it's 14-0, and the Riders are off and running.
There's the 30-yard line.
And then they go right back to their man Joe Turre again after they hook it up here over the middle.
Hayden Jordan. I mean, they've got so many different receivers making big plays. Congrats to the senior. He puts up a nice catch and run, and that's how Roosevelt gets it done a lot of times, those catch and run.
Good throw by Brady Dannenbring. That made it 28-0, and then Dannenbring to Michael Paulson going up and getting that one. And
Sweet.
a trio of really good receivers for the Riders. Dannenbring was finding them tonight. It was 35-0 at halftime, and 45-7 is the final.
You know, really the debate starts now. Who's the best team in 11 AAA? I mean, you got Lincoln who's rolling right now. The Riders have only got that one loss to O'Gorman earlier in the year. We got to talk about Harrisburg pretty soon.
What about Harrisburg? The Tigers at home tonight taking on Watertown. Harrisburg at 4-1, just the one loss last week to Roosevelt in a close game. Watertown's been playing well, Jandy. Stayed right with Brandon Valley last week.
And they've started out the games so well. They've been, having the lead.
Dawson Schmidt with a catch there, and then a touchdown run by Brett Fossum. Watertown's in the lead 14-0, but then Anders Clayton gets gone. He was shut down a little bit last week by Roosevelt, but got going tonight.
I'll tell you what, Watertown has been their Achilles heel, is stopping those big running backs from having big games. And tonight, Anders Clayton had a big game.
And then they score on the throwback here. They give it to Ethan Rollinger, and he throws it back to Jacob Knuth for a touchdown
How about that?
to tie it up at 14 on a beautiful night in Harrisburg. And then Anders Clayton, his second touchdown run, he was over 100 yards, 143 yards on the ground tonight for Clayton.
Yeah, that was the key to the game tonight for Harrisburg. They ate up the clock, got those big plays, and then look at this. They had a safety to the mix.
So Harrisburg is 5-1, 22-14, the final tonight over Watertown. And again, the Arrows play well, but they are 1-5 on the year. And you see the numbers there for Anders Clayton, and Harrisburg plays at Lincoln next week.
I love this. It's a one-score game between a 1-5 and 5-1 team. This is kind of illustrating just how much parity we have in AAA this year.
Keeping it in 11 AAA. Back to Howard Wood Field, late game there, and weather affecting this one. O'Gorman got those shiny, sweet helmets. So O'Gorman at 3-2, Washington 2-3 coming into this one. Tip Ryman with a couple of touchdowns tonight for the Knights.
Yeah, get him involved on the offensive plays defense quite a bit, and Connor Pavelko showing off that leg once again. He's hit a couple of monster field goals this year for O'Gorman.
That was good from 47 yards. Knights were in the lead 10-0, and then Washington with a fumble. Tate Wishard takes in another touchdown. He's got, 16 touchdowns
16
on the
now.
season? And then they throw it to Ryman. Big guy, 6'5", takes it in. Second touchdown of the night. And again, they are still, we believe, late in this game in a lightning delay, a weather delay.
They're still stuck at 149 on the scoreboard, at least the one that we have. Tegan Schlemgen comes up with a big night, a couple touchdown tosses. How about Zach Norton with 12 catches? And on the other side, no Max Thompson starting at quarterback for Washington, so Tyus Hansen came in. He did the best he could. He ran a little bit, but he was really the only offensive force they found was Josh Piper, who, as you see by the numbers right there, came up big tonight.
All right, Knights going to get to 4-2 on the season. Out in Rapid City tonight, this was a great game between Stevens and Central. Jeremy Weedman, great running back for the Cobblers, taking that down the sideline, and then Liam Porter will get a touchdown going straight ahead here.
That's the total misdirection of the single wing, and that's why they run that.
Our guy was shooting the tuba race. And in the meantime, Stevens scored there on a Branson Keel touchdown catch to make it 7-6. And then here's Weidman again.
Sign those tuba players up. They need some more.
Around the other end. So Central's in the lead 13-6, and they make it 20-6 at halftime on another touchdown run by Weidman.
This is the guy, though, that's been so impressive this year. It's Colton Hartford, and he's got, speaking of a trio of receivers, Michael Norman being one, Bridger Nesbitt the other, and Branson Keel also able to come up with big plays. But Hartford's been driving this car all season long.
Cuts back there for the touchdown. It's 20-18. They get a 2-point conversion as well here to tie it up at 20 as Hartford will take it in for the 2-point conversion. So it was 20-6 Central. Stevens comes back, ties it at 20. Cole Meisman hooked up with Evan O'Rasby. Central went back in the lead 27-20, but Stevens finished it off with 2 touchdowns. Another one to Branson Keel with about 9 minutes left, and then Hartford on another touchdown run, and Stevens comes from behind to knock off Rapid City Central.
4 of those 6 losses have been within a score for Rapid City Central, and the team continues to fight, and that's what Eric Iverson keeps stressing. How much this team is invested, and they're not that far back, even though you see that 0-6 record.
Stevens even at 3-3, and they go to Aberdeen Central next week.
Even Stevens.
All right, in Double-A tonight, Jandy, at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium in Brookings, the Cats are working on an undefeated season. They're 5-0 coming into this one against Mitchell. Tanner Shepardson to Max Struck. Leads to a Carter Item touchdown. Brookings in the lead 7-0, and then Shepardson to Preston Helmbolt. Whoa!
That's awesome.
That was great.
And that's not been their recipe for victory, is throwing the ball. They've been running the ball most of the year. Nice pick.
13-0 Helmbolt this time around the end. Cats in the lead 20-0. And they did not let Parker Phillips and that Mitchell running game get going at all. Shepardson breaks through here, goes 61 yards.
Well, that's been Mitchell's problem most of the year, too, is just giving up the big plays and just did not have an answer to stop Brookings Smith.
And how about the Bobcats 41-7 tonight over Mitchell? So Brookings is 6-0, and looming is the game at Pierre coming up next week.
Get to visit Pierre. That's going to be a very interesting game just to see what the difference. Everybody just assumes Pierre's so much better than Brookings, but this Brookings defense is probably one of the best defenses that Pierre will see all season.
All right, Bobcats are 6-0 on the year. In 11A tonight, Dakota Valley and Del Rapids. Dakota Valley 4-1, they're only lost to Madison. Del Rapids 5-0 on the year. They've beaten Madison, they've beaten Mitchell this year. They beat Tri-Valley last week. Dakota Valley gets out to the lead though. Zion Robinson with a touchdown. And then the Warriors come right back. Colin Rentz to Logan Ellingson. This has been a great connection.
Colin Rentz has really brought life to this offense, and we all knew Logan Ellingson could make big plays, but the way he delivers the ball makes this team so exciting.
Look at the rain in Del's. Last thing they need up there. Though Del Rapids was in the lead 8-7 at halftime. They drive here.
Oh, man.
And actually fumble it into the end zone and score to make it 16-7. And then they block a punt here, and the Warriors, after being down early 7-0.
Exactly. This game felt very even, and then toward the end, after this block punt, all the momentum switches toward the Warriors. They're at home getting stuff done, and they kind of put it into cruise control after that.
So they get the block punt, they go up 22-7. Tack on another one late, and Del Rapids rolls to 6-0, 28-7 tonight over a really good Dakota Valley team.
Yeah, so after a few really close wins for this Del Rapids team, for them to put some comfort between them and Dakota Valley, I think we got to start thinking about this team as a championship caliber team. I mean, I'm sure they've already thought of that, but a lot of us haven't put them there quite yet. But with a win like this, that puts the rest of the class on notice. Let's hear from Colin Rentz after the game.
We just kept telling each other that we're going to push each other and that this game, we're not going to let this game slip away from us, and it almost did in the first half. And my guys worked hard, and I'm really proud of them.
He's been the difference for this Del Rapids team. They've always been able to run. They've always been physical on defense, but he's added such a dimension as a guy who can wing the ball And Logan Ellingson's going to come down and make 1 or 2 huge plays a game.
And 11A is my other favorite class
That's
to follow
another
right now with
great class.
Madison and T and Dells and
Yeah, I mean,
Valley's
Madison's
hanging in there.
lost. They won tonight, but they had lost a couple games in a row before that. But they're right there with Del Rapids. And then, T, we don't know. They look pretty good tonight, but we don't know if any of these teams are kind of ready for that next gear.
All right, a couple of 9-man games we were keeping an eye on tonight. Del Rapids, St. Mary's. Actually, let's go to Webster, Jandy.
Another nine
Little
man
streamer game. Webster is 5-0 coming into this game against Mobridge Pollock. And
Mobridge Pollock was undefeated too and
Reese
started to get a few votes.
Cerny with a touchdown there. Mobridge Pollock in the lead early, but then Webster starts to take over after that. This is Kobe Reitz with a touchdown run.
This is the fun thing. This Webster team, I've talked about it before, but have been so young. They played a lot of these guys as sophomores, juniors. They kept getting a little better. Expectations kept getting a little higher. And now as seniors, these guys are putting a show on.
Braden Holland on a scramble there, and they did find Austin Moen there for a touchdown. And Webster started to pull away later in this game, and then on a kick return, they fake a reverse. Moen keeps it. Great block right there, and Austin Moen goes all the way on a kick return touchdown for Webster. And the Bearcats are 6-0, Jason.
So the Bearcats move up to 11-man football after playing 9-man for so many years, and we thought that maybe that would be what would make them stumble. But look at this, off to a 6-0 start. They get Flanders next week. This is a team that could maybe make a run in 11B. I'm not putting them quite there with the winners and the Bridgewater Emory Ethans yet, but these guys could make a run to the semi.
Well, maybe you should.
Maybe I should.
Find out next week. As you said, first loss, though, for Mobridge Pollock as they are 5-1. Del Rapids, St. Mary's. This is a 9B matchup. Centerville at St. Mary's.
Homecoming, but it's not on their home field.
There are 2 unbeatens in this class. Coleman Egan's one of them. Del Rapids St. Mary is the other one. Connor Libbis to Weston Garretts, who steps out of a tackle there and scores.
He steps out of tackle, helps himself to the ball, and trots in for the touchdown.
They got a good running back named Eli Longville at St. Mary's.
And he rumbles through the entire defense. And this is all in the first quarter, by the way. No problem for the Cardinals running through the Tornadoes defense.
14-0 there. This game is at O'Gorman's Field, by the way. This is not in Dells.
Yeah, Dells is unplayable since that flood.
Water deluge there, so they're playing there at the MAC. Libbis with a touchdown run there, 22-0 early, and 52-0. Dells St. Mary's gets to 6-0.
Yeah, they're looking forward to a Coleman-Egan matchup coming up next week. That one will be good. That'll be a test, 1 versus 2.
Yeah, those are the unbeatens in the class there.
Looking forward to that.
We might have some Gregory at bottom highlights coming up if we can get him in here. That was a good matchup in 9-man tonight.
And O'Gorman and Washington went final.
His final now, O'Gorman wins that one.
They called it.
All right, we will take a break, come back, get to the North Dakota highlights of the night. We had the live game at Bismarck Century, taking on Mandan. West Fargo with a win tonight as well, coming up.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Avera Orthopedics, South Dakota State University, and Farmers Union Insurance.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live. Time for North Dakota highlights tonight, and talk about Bismarck Century a little bit, Jandy. We've covered them over the last 5, 6, 7 years here on this program, and it's just a great program.
Well, their quarterback high school of South Dakota, they continually pump out great quarterbacks, and just since we've been covering it for the last 7 or 8 years, we've seen some really good ones with Dalton Feeney, and then of course Cade Feeney isn't so bad either.
This was our live game tonight here on Midco Sports Network. Bismarck Century hosting Mandan, and Bismarck at 5-0. Mandan 3-2 coming into this game, and Mandan gets out first. Austin Fry with a touchdown. And the Braves in the lead, but then Bismarck comes back. There's Cade Feeney. Gets it even at 7-7. And then Century takes off from there. Cade Garcia had a big night on the ground. Touchdown run there. Comes back. Another Garcia touchdown run here. 20-7. Century in the lead here at home. And then Feeney to Brock Johnson. Nice little grab there by Johnson. That leads to another Feeney touchdown run. And this is the guy we're talking about, Elijah Klein for Mandan. Big man, 6'5", can catch anything that you throw at him, but Feeney with an interception there as well, and then Feeney to Brock Johnson off the scramble. Look at this catch.
You don't see, that's crazy. You don't see a ton of big school quarterbacks who are playing defense anymore, and Cade Feeney comes up with the pick. He's throwing dimes, but that Elijah Klein catch, that takes the cake.
Klein is a joy to watch. Mandan gets out to the lead, but then Century comes storming back. So the Patriots, #1 in the big schools. They are 6-0, and here is our guy Jody Norstadt with a recap of this one.
Yeah, the Century Patriots take care of business here, 37-15. The #1 ranked team in the state over the #5 ranked team in the state, the Mandan Braves. And joined by the two Cades now that were kind of the heroes in this game, Cade Garcia and Cade Feeney. We'll start with you, Cade Garcia. 2 rushing touchdowns in this one. You guys really were able to pour it on with the run game throughout this game. But Mandan came out and played you guys tough early. What were you guys able to do to kind of get past them and get rolling on the run game?
Yes, sir. Our coaches really made the game plan to help the line push me through, and let me and Grant get the ball and keep pushing down the field every single play.
What's it like running behind that offensive line? You have a couple of guys up there that are about 300 pounds that are opening up pretty big holes for you against a really good defense.
Mm-hmm. It's literally a dream. Every single play, it's new opportunities, everything. You don't know what to expect because they just keep on pushing, keep working hard.
Your quarterback made some unreal plays tonight. Circus plays. What's it like watching him?
It's insane. I've never seen anything like it. It's insane. It's insane.
Well, from one Cade to another, Cade Feeney with a couple of rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown, an interception on defense. Oh, you knew this was a big game tonight. Mandan's a good team, and there was a point where you just kind of had to take over, and you had some really nice runs. What was kind of going through your head in the second quarter there?
Yeah, Mandan's a heck of a team. We knew that coming in, and I think that just Coach got a little more running plays for me, just taking it easy lately. But, yeah, definitely he gave me the most confidence in the world, and just those linemen, they help out so much.
What's going through your head? I'm curious what's going through your head when you are running around in the backfield and just trying to think of, okay, I hope a player's down there when I throw the ball.
I'm usually worried about the people around me, trying to get away from them, and then once I feel that there's not a lot of pressure, that's when I start looking downfield. And Coach always just says, there's nothing, don't force it, just run. So
6-0 with a chance to kind of close this out and continue rolling along. What do you guys need to do to close this regular season out and get onto the playoffs with an unblemished record?
Just keep working in practice, especially on Mondays. We got conditioning and film, and we just got to keep going. We can't just slow down and just plateau. We got to keep gaining, getting better every week.
All right, a couple of pretty good Cades here joining us on Varsity Sports Live after a big 37-15 win. The Patriots still unbeaten in 3A football.
Mondays are always fun, as you can tell. Cade Feeney's looking forward to that, but he's good, and Garcia is coming along as a running back, and they keep rolling.
He's insane, is what he is. He's insane. And it's hard when you're that good of a team to stay focused week in, week out. I mean, don't take that for granted that this team has got so much confidence, but they're not overconfident. He's right. They keep going back to work every Monday to get better and better and better, even though I think pretty much everybody agrees that's the cream of the crop. That's the team to beat in North Dakota.
All right, Century is 6-0, and they are now the only unbeaten team in the big schools because West Fargo Cheyenne was at Shanley tonight. First time these teams have ever played each other. And on the game's first possession, Cheyenne on a 4th and 1. Zach Rogers gets stuffed there. Shanley's defense takes over. Very next play, Carter Cookman finds the hole, makes a couple guys miss. Cheyenne in the lead, 7-0.
That was the key, is getting the running game going because Grant Workentine was not at quarterback for Cheyenne, so they got that going. But then on the other side, Shanley making big plays.
Cooper Madden rolls out there, finds Quincy Smith, gets it down to the 8-yard line. Cheyenne holds on strong there on the 4th and goal from the 2. So very next possession, Terhart gets it to Barika Pinu. It's ripped out of there. Talon Hoffer on there to scoop and score for Shanley. And Shanley in the lead, 21-7. Second quarter here, Terhart on another quarterback keeper, showing off some moves here, a little hesitation.
That's fun. But here's the thing, they were so one-dimensional having a quarterback back there. He tried to pass once in a while, and that's a short pass. You get a few of those, but they were certainly not themselves with the new quarterback.
Yeah, they had 3 fumbles there. Terherk finally gets one in there, but still Shanley in the lead big. And this was a strange play. The handoff, picked up, run back. Copeland hustles back, strips. It's recovered by Shanley for a touchback. And Shanley call it an upset, I guess, as they knock off West Fargo Cheyenne 42-20.
Yeah, call it an upset, but a huge win, a landmark win for the Deacons team, who, I'll tell you what, this is going to put them in the driver's seat really in the East and give them a lot of confidence now at 5-1 in the EDC.
So first loss for West Fargo Cheyenne. Both those teams now at 5-1. And let's hear from the Deacons after this one.
Our corner did a great job of ripping that ball out. We've been working on that in practice all week, ripping the ball out, and it helped us big. We just wanted to come out and play our game. We knew if we played our game that good things would happen. That's what we did.
You forget about the defense, and you see a lot of this now, punching the ball out, tackling the football. We saw that takeaway in the South Dakota highlights. But
it's kind of crazy. You see these kids going, usually it's the first guy for the tackle, second guy for the ball. But you see a lot of the first guys going for the ball now, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But all the credit in the world to Shanley. They played a whale of a game.
Shanley 5-1 after the win over West Fargo Cheyenne tonight. Also in Fargo this evening, Davies at Fargo North. Davies has won 6 of the last 7 in this series. And Davies 4-1 coming in. After falling behind 15-0 in the first quarter, North trying to get something going here. Blaine Anderson, nice little 36-yard run, but turnovers will kill you. They cough it up, and North comes up empty, so Davies still in the lead 15-0. And then later in the second quarter, the sophomore quarterback for Fargo North, Daniel Boutain, hooks it up with Caden Rickard, 28 yards. North rolling again, but the story of the night for North was they just gave it away too many times. Jack Carlson with an interception here for Davies.
Yeah, you saw the fumble on the exchange, a couple interceptions. Just couldn't keep a drive going without making a mistake.
Punt game mistake as well. That gives Davies the ball on the 2-yard line. And the Eagles will punch it in again from 2 yards out. 22-0. Davies in the lead and rolling, and it's all smiles for the visiting team in this one. Ethan Entz, another bust up the middle, 24 yards here, gets it down within striking distance. Sam Mosier will make another touchdown run here for Davies, makes it 29-0. And Davies is rolling right now, 5-1 overall, 4-0 in the East region as the Eagles beat up on North tonight, 35-0.
East is a lot of fun. You got Davies sitting there with 1 loss, Shanley, and also Cheyenne.
Red River taking on West Fargo tonight, homecoming for the Packers, and giving their fans something to cheer about early. Opening drive, Dustin Mertz to Marcus Gully, makes a tough catch there, and then tight ropes it in. West Fargo gets out to the lead 7-0 on homecoming. Ensuing kickoff alert, Jandy here. This is Brady Dvorak. And that is some excitement as he gets outside, goes all the way. Ties it up 7-7 here, Red River. Hanging in there. West Fargo, though, regains the lead just at the end of the first quarter. Mertz to Gully again, his second touchdown of the night. And the Packers lead at 14-7 after 1 quarter. Red River trying to answer back on the next drive. Parker Winnett's pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage, right into the hands, though, of Bryce Anderson. And the Riders into West Fargo territory, but West Fargo stiffens up on defense here. That is Junior Bali with the interception. West Fargo had a 21-7 lead at halftime, tack on a few more scores after that, 44-7, as West Fargo gets even at 3-3, but they got to take on Fargo Davies coming up, and doesn't get any easier for Red River either as they take on Shanley next week.
Yeah, West Fargo, we've seen them play really well, and we've seen them play not so well this year, but they definitely have the potential to make a run here.
All right, in Hillsboro Central Valley tonight, taking on Devils Lake. And the Burros undefeated in this one, coming in at 5-0. And Micah Gallagher Looking for Carson Henningsgaard. Right into the hands of Austin DeVere, though, for a Devils Lake interception. And they just trade turnovers, though. Ben Heilman, a pick on the other side, and there's some weather up there. You see how dirty and messy and sloppy it is, but Gallagher sacked there. Hillsborough goes for it, and Gallagher goes to Gavin right between two defenders, sets up the first touchdown. Gallagher will find a hole and get through here. 7-0. Hillsborough will take the lead, but the defense is thriving on the sloppy field. Fumble there, and Devils Lake picks it up. Flea flicker here for the Firebirds. Michael Widmer falls down and can't make the catch there. That drive stalls out. Firebirds fighting through. They get to Gallagher again. That ends another Burroughs threat, and this thing just stayed close and stayed low scoring. Half comes to a close here. Heilman takes a shot. Can't quite make the one-handed catch there by DeVere. It was 7-0 at halftime. Devils Lake tied it at 7. They go to overtime, tied 7-7. Both score a touchdown in the overtime, but Hillsborough blocks the Devils Lake extra point attempt, and the Burros survive at home as they win at 14-13 over Devils Lake. And Central Valley, Hillsborough Central Valley now at 6-0 on the season.
And we've seen Hillsborough really take apart some teams this year. For Devils Lake to play a game like that, I mean, to me, that shows that they belong in this class.
Devils Lake 3-2, still in the top 5 there in Class 2A. Let's go to Class A, and you get Shiloh Christian unbeaten at 6-0, taking on Bowman County at 4-1. Bowman County strikes first. Jacob Swyhovic busts up the middle. 7-0 Bulldog League in the first quarter. More Bulldogs. Swyhovic finds senior wide receiver Matt Ossendorf down the left side as the first quarter comes to an end, and then Swyhovic opening on the left side, bursts through 9 yards out. Bulldogs up 13-0 on Shiloh Christian. 54 seconds into the second quarter, and then the Bulldogs hold Shiloh on 4th and 3. Swyhovic finds a big hole in the Shiloh defense, goes 43 yards, 20-0. They get out to the lead, and look at this. Shiloh Christian falls for the first time this year as Bowman County rolls 34-6, and the Dogs are 5-1.
I mean,
on the
that
season.
shows you what you can do when you have a quarterback like Swyhovic. I know I've said it wrong. Jody says it wrong. We all say it wrong. But when you have a quarterback like that kid, he's such a difference maker, and he showed it tonight.
Swyhovic, 4 touchdown runs for the Dogs as they get to 5-1 with a big win tonight. Also in Class A, Lisbon taking on Thompson tonight. First quarter, Tommy's hand up off the middle. That's Ryan Juve. Muscles his way in for the score. Thompson up 6-0. And then in the second, a little misdirection from Lisbon here. Dawson Perro gets past the defense, hits the burners. 2-point conversion good. Lisbon takes an 8-6 lead at halftime on the road at Thompson. Third quarter, Clay Odenbach into the end zone. Another connection there. That's Ryan Juvie again. 2-point conversion. Thompson takes the lead 14-8. And then on the ensuing Lisbon drive, Broncos show that they can throw it too. Hunter Schultz steps up, airs it out. That is Perro again, sprints in for the score. Lisbon back on top, 16-14. And then Dawson Perro had a night for Lisbon. Fourth quarter, Broncos go to the senior again, makes a couple of Tommies miss with a nice move there. His third touchdown of the night makes it 22-14 with about 5 minutes to go. And then after a turnover on downs for Thompson, they need a stop on third down to stay alive, but there is that man again. Dawson Perro breaks through, got a little convoy, 71 yards this time, his 4th touchdown of the night. And Lisbon wins at Thompson 30-14 this evening, so the Broncos are 6-0 on the season.
Yeah, and they stay unbeaten. They're coming off a huge win last week against Oaks, and now another huge win against Thompson. This is a team that's rolling right now. They have averaged 393 yards per game, and today end up putting 30 points on the board after a slow start. So huge win for the Broncos.
We got a little sound here from Dawson Pero after the win for Lisbon.
Our line always shows up, and it was a tough one first half, but they came out with a chip, and we got her done. It was a good win for us. Get a first down, then we'd take a knee, but I decided to take it to the house, and he told me I could have downed it, and that would have been game, but, you know, things happen. We were playing football, so.
Just take it to the house. If you can take it to the house, take it to the house.
I totally agree. They got a game ball winner last week in Jordan Sowers, and I think this week, I mean, he definitely makes a case for that game ball this week.
All right, Lisbon 6-0 after that win over Thompson tonight. A couple of 9-man games to get to. Cavalier at home tonight taking on St. John. St. John 5-1 coming into this one. Cavalier at 6-0. And the Tornadoes come out hot. Colton Raczynski to Brandon Kleem in the end zone for 6, and Cavalier out to the lead 8-0. A couple minutes later, Raczynski showing off the arm again. This time goes to North Dakota State commit Andre Carrier. That goes 40 yards, and Cavalier is in the lead at home 14-0. Late first quarter, Tornadoes again. Tanner Erlob punches it in. Cavalier in the lead 22-0, and then in the second quarter, Raczynski airing it out. Carrier, seriously, absolutely made the catch there on the tip.
We looked at the review, too. He made that catch.
Raczynski will take it in himself after that unbelievable catch by Carrier. 28-0, Cavalier rolling, and then the final play of the half, St. John gets on the board. Adam Jolly looking to pass, but ends up scrambling and gets in for 6. Halftime score, Cavalier in the lead 28-6, and the Tornadoes rolled 42-6 to get to 7-0 on the season.
Yeah, what a sloppy field. I mean, it's hard to see who has the advantage, the offense or the defense. That time, the defense couldn't make the play. Usually it's the offense that has trouble making any kind of moves, but Cavalier gets it done on the sloppy conditions.
Nice grab by Andre Carrier as part of that win. And in 9-man tonight in North Dakota, you got Ray Powers Lake taking on Central McLean. Central McLean 6-0 coming into this one, and Tyson Engett on the return. This is the opening kick. Takes it outside, goes in for the touchdown for the Outlaws. Ray Powers Lake in the lead early. They go for 2 on the triple auction. Engett keeps that. It's 8-0. Ray Powers Lake in the lead. The late first quarter, Outlaws back on offense. Ty Schneider jumps the route there, comes away with the interception. Cougars for Central get it in with about 8 minutes left in the half. Snyder to Caden Hornberger into the end zone. 2-point conversion here to tie it up. And it is Ray Powers Lake goes on to win this game. They knock off Central McLean's first loss of the year for the Cougars. Both teams 6-1 in 9-man football in North Dakota.
A nice win for Ray Powers Lake. That's the first time that they've faced Central McLean, and there's actually a lot of first-time matchups tonight. You saw Shanley and Cheyenne play for the first time. Hillsborough, Central Valley, and Devils Lake playing for the first time. So a lot of these class shifts have maybe made a few new rivalries.
All right, Bismarck Century keeps rolling 6-0 after their win over Mandan tonight in our game that was live here on Midco Sports Network. Shanley knocks off West Fargo Cheyenne. First loss of the season for Cheyenne as we get into the last couple of games of the regular season coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you can really, I mean, the weather changes a little bit.
It's going to get better.
You can really tell playoff football is just around the corner.
When we come back, we'll throw it around for some post-game comments. Also have those Gregory Bonham highlights coming up in 9-man in South Dakota.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Avera Orthopedics, South Dakota State University, and Farmers Union Insurance.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live. Let's get to the 9-man highlights we missed earlier. This was a good matchup in 9-man with Gregory taking on Bonham. Gregory in 9A. They are 5-0 on the season. Bonham in 9AA, 6-0, the defending champions in 9AA, and Cavaliers get on the board early. Josh Crownover had a nice night kicking the football.
He does a little bit of everything, doesn't he? He started out is kind of the kicker and the defensive leader. Now he's the quarterback too.
Made 3 field goals on the night. Bonham adds to the lead after a Gregory fumble. Nate Szynski from a yard out. 9-0. Cavs in the lead, but the Gorillas answer in a hurry. Corey Detterman, this is on 3rd and long, and he just gives it all he's got. Evan Jirasek hauls it in 64 yards for a touchdown.
Wow.
And it's 9-7. Good game early. Tough sledding for Gregory after that, though. Detterman picked off by Szynski. Takes it all the way inside the Gregory 10-yard line. That set up another field goal by Crownover. And Bonham had a 12-7 lead. Again, Crownover made 3 field goals on the night. Third quarter, more defense here. Szynski again, and this time it's a pick 6. 2-point conversion made it 23-7. And Bonham looking good again, Jandy. 23-7. The final is Bonham's 7-0.
I mean, the turnovers made a huge difference in this game, but just the stability they've gotten from Boots Crownover playing quarterback.
Boots
has been a huge help. Let's hear from the Bonham players after the game.
And absolutely everything to this team to come out and get a W against this great Gregory team that they are. We needed all 3 phases to step up tonight, and I feel like everybody stepped up, even the young kids.
Our defense is awesome. Coach Puddle works really hard with us. We put a lot of time on defense. And what they say, defense wins championships. That's why we won it last year, and we're hoping to do the same thing again this year.
Yeah, it's awesome just to get the win out here. Like, obviously, the conference championship is awesome. Getting those plays or those home games for the playoffs is huge too. But getting that win in front of a big Gregory crowd and a bigger Bonham crowd, that's what it's all about.
This rivalry has been really cool the last few years, and Bonham, I mean, he said it. Colbar said it. Defense is going to win you championships. And this Gregory team has been pretty balanced, pretty electric on offense, totally shut down.
First loss of the year for Gregory, though. They're 5-1. And again, they're in a class below Bonham. Bonham's in 9AA, Gregory's in 9A. But Bonham, you and Coach Pudwill have had some good give and take over the last year or so that you keep saying, well, last year. What was the story last year?
Well, last year I picked them to be 4-4,
right?
And evidently that found its way into their locker room.
And then they win,
posted all over the place.
State championship. So this year you were on board a little bit more.
This year I've been a little more cautious, but on my podcast I did pick against them a couple weeks ago. Again, got that wrong. So let's hear from Byron. See what he has to say.
We kind of hung on, and Gregory's got an amazing tradition, and really proud of the way our kids played, and was happy with the coaching effort by our entire staff. Our main goal was to try and get as much pressure as we could against the pass, and for whatever reason we've been defending the run pretty well this year. So we knew if we could get pressure on the quarterback, it should be an okay night, and it turned out pretty well. When you're growing up, you want to play in games like this where you're playing your rivals and quality teams, and you want to play in front of your hometown crowd. You grow up, and we've got this crowd over here, we got that crowd there, and ever since they're little kids, they see that. And we talk to them, before the game, that the guys before them have created their own legacy, and tonight they had to create theirs. And they listened, and they've now kind of left a story to tell when they get to their class reunion.
Well put, Byron, well put.
Let's get to North Dakota here quickly. Big win for Shanley tonight. Fargo-Shanley moves up to the big class. They beat West Fargo-Cheyenne tonight 42-20. Let's hear from Coach Mattern after that win.
We told our kids all week we needed a statement win to elevate our program to this AAA level, and I think we did that tonight, and I couldn't be more proud of our kids, the way we responded, probably more importantly, the way we executed. Our kids executed at a very high level, and I think we sent a statement, but again, it doesn't matter if we don't come back to work on Monday and get back to work for Red River, but we're going to celebrate this one tonight. This was a big win for our program, going from AA to AAA, and our kids, I couldn't be more proud of them.
Absolutely, that's a signature win for Shanley tonight. And in South Dakota, Sioux Falls-Lincoln, I don't know if this was a signature win, but this was a great win over Brandon Valley tonight.
They keep getting a bigger signature win every week, and Coach Fredenberg says it has a lot with the way they get along.
The momentum's over on Monday, but it's just the kids believe, and that's just, they just believe in each other that they can do it, and they've been down before and have stayed there. We were down in the first half. We came back and tied it. And the kids just, the kids believe that they can win no matter what. And you can't coach that. They just, they believe it. And so it's just a together, it's a we thing and not an individual thing.
He's preaching to the choir. He's got a really good team there.
All right, when we come back, we'll get you set for some Saturday college football here on Midco Sports Network. More highlights and reaction. You can find it online on Jason Andera's various social media accounts. Coming up, we got college football here on Midco Sports Network on Saturday. USD and UND both at home. Check it out. See you next week.